Michael Patrick Shields is on the air.
Good morning, world.
Good morning, Michigan. A wonderful Wednesday to you. It's Michael Patrick Shields live in the American Metal Roofs studio. Find them at AmericanMetalRoofs.com in the Gillespie Group Stadium District building, just a couple blocks from the Capitol, but heard all across the state on various radio stations, including the great one you're listening to right now. United States Senator Debbie Stabenow, the Democrat running for re-election, is on the other end of our line. Good morning to you, Senator.
Well, good morning. It's great to be with you.
Well, thanks. I was looking at the news yesterday that Chrysler paid back the United States government for the so-called bailout loans, and I was looking for Lee Iacocca and Jim Blanchard. I mean, seemed like we turned back the clock all over again.
Right. Well, the good news is they've paid it back years early, which is great. I mean, you're right. We've had some rough and tumble times, that's for sure, but Chrysler is on a great footing now. They're adding jobs. They're adding second shifts at their plants, great new products, and they've been able to pay off their loans early. So this is just another example of why it was the right thing to do to save the American automobile industry, certainly for us in Michigan, both GM and Chrysler paying off their loans early, making a profit now, most importantly, hiring people, and making great product. And so when you look to the future, the great new fuel-efficient cars and electric vehicles, battery-operated vehicles, and the new jobs that are coming from doing that, it's important. It's really critical for us. So I was really glad to see that yesterday.
It is interesting when you think about the fact that Chrysler was looking for a partner. They were looking for a suitor, a merger, someone to buy them out. And look what happens. In the end, they make that little deal with Fiat, and all of a sudden we even have a Fiat dealer in the Metro Detroit area now. And
right.
And then M&M goes on and does that thing on the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden the company is revitalized. It's really good news, and I know you like good news. Will you be with us next week on Mackinac Island for the Detroit Regional Chamber Policy Conference?
I will. I'm always there. This is a really important conference with business leaders really all over the state now. It's become a really important place for people to gather. I'll be there for one day to be able to come in and listen to, talk to folks and participate in some of the sessions and so on. And then I'll be back on the road again because I'm doing a lot of work, now as chair of the Agriculture Committee. I'm going from community to community all around Michigan, listening to our growers and what they'd like to see in the Farm Bill coming up that we're going to start to write in the next several months. And we're talking up in Traverse City next week after I leave the conference about conservation. The largest investment in land and water conservation we make as a country is through the Farm Bill, and that's so important to us. And it helps us protect our Great Lakes. Runoff into the Great Lakes is minimized, and our land, water, there's a terrific partnership between our fishermen and those who like to hunt and be in the outdoors, and our farmers who are out there protecting and as stewards of the land as well. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that next week, but one stop will be up at the conference.
Great. We'll be broadcasting live from the lobby as usual there, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield, Clark Hill, AARP, Family Resource Centers, and Health Partners right around from the desk there. Do you feel like you're scaring all the big-name Republicans out of the race to go up against you in the next election?
Well, I don't know. I guess it's nice to hear the party hasn't coalesced around anybody yet, but I am so focused on what I'm doing now as the new chair of the Agriculture Committee and what we need to do. It's 1 out of 4 jobs in Michigan, so it's a very big deal, making sure that I'm supporting rural communities and their efforts to create jobs, and as well as what we can do through manufacturing and that lends itself to agriculture. And then, of course, manufacturing with the automobile industry. The whole effort in the last couple of years, so important. With everybody in Michigan, in one way or the other, was touched by this, and people sacrificed, workers, retirees, the companies, communities, auto dealers. I mean, everybody had to sacrifice. There was a big reset button pushed, and we invested in innovation for the future. And now we're winning every award in town from because of the great work that's being done. And so that's really where I'm focused. It's got to be about jobs and getting people back to work and supporting our small businesses along the way to be able to create jobs as well.
Your one-time opponent, Mike Bouchard, was quoted in the paper this weekend saying that if he told his wife he were going to run against you again, that she would put him in a shallow grave in the backyard, which, he's a pretty amiable guy, and that's a pretty funny line. But when we talked to him yesterday on the program, we talked about you, and here's what he said.
I do agree that she's vulnerable. I served with Debbie in the state senate. She's always been a nice person, but what we need really is an effective person that will get things done in a dramatic way for Michigan and for the country. We're going in a very bad direction. We're spending money that our future grandkids don't have, and it has to stop.
It sounds like a guy who is almost campaigning without campaigning, don't you think?
Well, again, I just have to keep focused on the future. I've lived in Michigan my whole life. I'm fortunate my family is all still in Michigan, and I am laser focused on what we can do in Michigan to turn things around. And we are. We've got a long way to go. A lot of families are still in very challenging situations with their house underwater or income's gone down or small businesses struggling. But we're, turning things around and being able to bring jobs back. And I have been very, very involved in that, leading the effort in the Senate related to manufacturing and the auto industry, leading our efforts on agriculture. I don't think we have an economy unless you make things and grow things. And that's what we do. And that's how you have a middle class. And we shouldn't take our focus away from that. So that's really where I am focused right now, and we've been able to do that. And then along the way, there's other critical issues for us. The Great Lakes, that's who we are in Michigan, and I've been helping to lead the effort on Asian carp to be able to do everything possible to keep them out of the Great Lakes. Mm-hmm. There's a new announcement on an intensified effort with the Great Lakes region that was announced yesterday on new monitoring efforts to put cameras in the water and sound systems and track what's going on with DNA and a whole range of things to redouble efforts to monitor and be able to track the fish. And I'm leading the effort to actually get a permanent solution, which is to change the way the waterways flow so that we don't have the Chicago waterways actually flowing into Lake Michigan, which would really be a permanent solution. So, there's a lot, when you look at what we are tackling in Michigan, there's a lot to be done, and so that's where I'm focused.
All right, thank you very much. Travel safely. We'll see you on the island and hopscotching around the rest of Michigan, Traverse City, too, and all the best to you.
Right. Terrific. I'll see you next week.
U.S.
Bye.
Senator Debbie Stabenow with us. Thaddeus McCotter, the congressman from the Livonia area, says he may run for president. What are his chances? We'll find out when we get back. Stay tuned.